Welcome back everyone to another episode of Sound Design Lab. My name's Hakobo, and today I'm excited to bring you a really cool Neuro bass wobble, which you can find in my song Pummel, and this is what it sounds like. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. The wavetables that I'm using today are the distorted bass dropper, and for oscillator B I noticed that it was a little less important which one you used, but for the sake of accuracy I used the Juno wavetable. Now, we're not going to actually need any volume from oscillator B because we will be FMing at about 40% on this patch in particular. So let's go ahead and do that right now just to get it out of the way. But in this sound, it's just going to be a simple combination of a lot of unison and a low pass filter working with a bandpass. Now, let's go ahead and just make our LFOs as well to get them out of the way. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring this curve up to the middle of the grid on the top right section of the main grid. So it's going to be right in the center right here, and we're going to go ahead and throw our trigger on and make a second LFO, which is simply just a ramp at 1/2 rate. And if you watched my Neuro bass design video, you'll notice I used this to get a different character of wobble out of every wobble that comes out by putting this on knobs that will change up the sound that is coming through as the faster LFO is going, which I will show an example of. But the only two knobs we're going to be putting the ramp on is going to be the wavetable position of oscillator A, which we can just throw on right now. And we're not going to have anything cool coming out right now, just a simple basic sound. But if we go ahead and increase the unison to 16, let's go ahead and do a couple things here. We're going to increase the unison to 16, or if you're not trying to kill so much CPU, you can go ahead and use 8 to 16. Anywhere in between there is going to work just fine. I just use 16 for the tone, and I noticed that when we bring down the range in the global tab to about 1, it gives us a much better sound, and then I just go ahead and decrease the width to 1/2 at about 50. Now, this is less important here on the mode. Usually this is only useful when you have the random off, but we're going to be keeping the random on today. But I'm going to go ahead and put it on super anyways, just to be safe, and then we're going to go ahead and knock the octave up of oscillator B to get more exaggerated effect out of the FM. And that gives us a really cool sound that we can start morphing with our low pass filter. I'm going to go ahead and just direct out a sub real quick just to get that out of the way. Let's go ahead and put this on about 60 from the bottom, which is fine. And then to clean up the sound, I'm going to also put it on the level and just do that all across the board on the level knob and get us something real cool. Now, to start off with filtering, let's go ahead and just put it on low 24. Bring this down, I think I have it on 60, and then go ahead and put the LFO on to about 50, which brings it quite across the frequency range. And we're going to go ahead and turn resonance all the way down because it adds just a little bit of character that I'm not a big fan of, and I just wanted to get rid of it. So it gives us what we're looking for already. So now that we have a good foundation to build off of, we can go into our effects and start putting on the very typical things that I usually do to a bass, which in hyperdimension is just to turn off the rate. And let's go ahead and put the detune on about 18%, turn retrigger on, and do my classic, just turning the mix down and putting the LFO to about 50% of the mix. So what this is going to do is it's going to give it some really cool character with the detune that you probably can't hear. It's a little quiet. Let's go ahead and turn that up a bit. And then I'm going to take this ramp and put it on here and then do a very, very small upward motion of about, like, say 12. So that's just going to do a little bit of tuning, and we'll notice later I'll go over a cool sound that you can make by messing with this knob. Now let's go ahead and do a very exaggerated effect with the asymmetrical distortion. Now I usually turn the pre on the left right here and bring this over to about 900 Hertz. Bring this down, anywhere over here is good, 900, and I bring this all the way down to 0.1 and then crank the drive up to 50, and this is going to give us kind of a crazy upward frequency range that we're going to have to kind of tone down a little bit, but it makes it bright enough for me to be happy with the effect that comes later with the bandpass. So let's go ahead and turn on our multiband OTT and go ahead and crank this up to about 138% right here. and then just go ahead and tune back the threshold to make it a little bit louder, and the ratio to about 1.7, which I don't think really makes that much of a difference. We just get craziness. So what we're going to do is, once we've added all this crazy depth to the sound, we're going to turn it back a bit with a standing phaser, which is just a typical technique to kind of bring back the lower resonances of the wobble, or like any like vowel noises that might be coming out. This kind of just tunes it back a bit, and in my opinion has it sit better. So I always throw a standing phaser on the effect chain, and I believe AU5 has a video that goes a little bit more in depth on how this works and what this does exactly. So I do have his channel on the sidebar of my channel page. I recommend checking him out and checking the videos out because they're super cool. And then let's go ahead and turn on the icing of the cake, which is our filter. And what we're doing today is we're putting on a band pass with a notch in the combination. And let's go ahead and crank that resonance up to 50 and get our, see, I believe I had this on 130 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 130, and then just a super subtle 13 for the LFO on the cutoff. And then you can put this anywhere you want to bring back the sound a bit. And something else cool that I did was I went ahead and clicked this mix button, which turns it into a level knob, which allows you to mess with the level at any stage of your effect chain. And I went ahead and put a LFO on that and brought it down to the midway point, which is 50, which is the original place that the level goes. Anything above that will increase it in volume. And that gives us our sound. Now, a cool thing that we can do is we can actually come to the detune right here and turn it down all the way. And it gives us a really, really cool sound that almost sounds more neuro-ish in my opinion. It just kind of crunches the a high noise in there and twists it down a little bit. This might actually be a better sound, but I'm going more for the default sounding wobble. Now all that's left to do is just throw on a little reverb, which typically in this case I just bring the wet knob down to like maybe 10 or 15% and then increase the low cut to get some of the lower frequencies out of that reverb. I never really like lower frequencies in reverb. I really enjoy filling up the space with high frequency ranges of reverb and turn back the volume just to get a little bit of space out of it without taking away the forward dynamic of whatever bass or sound that I am utilizing the reverb on. So that's going to wrap up this sound. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps me out. If you're interested in sharing any feedback or have a really cool technique or sound that you made yourself that you would love for me to share on my channel and receive credit and a shout out for, go ahead and leave me a comment or send me a message on Soundcloud or Discord. If you're interested in joining the Discord community, go ahead and go to my channel and there will be a Discord link in the top right corner. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day.